Some men struggle with drugs, others with alcohol, and majority of guys, if not 99.9% of men, at least struggle with lust once in their life. And in this video, I'm going to break down 3 historical figures who, from the Bible, struggled with lust, how it ruined their life, my struggle with lust, what I'm doing about it, and just basically a video that I wish somebody had made me, or I had 10 years ago, to help me out with it. Because in my opinion, lust is like the final boss. Like legit, if you've ever played a video game, like the last final boss, the last final level, lust is the final level, the final boss. If you conquer it, you've mastered yourself in a man's self-development journey. Most of my videos, if not all my videos, aren't scripted, so usually I like to think as I speak, so I might be speaking a little bit slower. If you're somebody that, likes a better experience in videos, definitely put the video on like 1.5, even 2 times speed. Like when I rewatch my videos to see what I need to improve on, I usually watch my videos in 2x speed. So if you want a better experience, watch it in 2x. Anyway, let's get into the video, because I wish I had this 10 years ago. Let's take a look at history. King Solomon, the wisest man who fell to lust. Solomon had extraordinary wisdom, wealth, and influence, the most gifted man of his generation. You could call him, that's what he was known for. He was the wisest man on earth. The only thing he asked from God was wisdom, and God gave him all of the wisdom on the planet. But his downfall wasn't enemies, it was lust and desire for women. He had 700 wives. 700 wives. Think about that. One is a handful. Imagine 700. And he allowed desire to weaken his convictions. He drifted away from his purpose and from God. His kingdom split after he died, and his legacy ended in chaos. If the wisest man and one of God's chosen people struggled with lust and allowed it to defeat him, if you're struggling with it, just know you're not broken. You're not some, horrible guy. It's just part of, I guess, the way that we're designed biologically as men. But the more, it's not about wisdom. It's about awareness. It's about awareness of your thoughts. It's about awareness of where and how you act, really. Because, anyway, I don't want to get too into it. I'll get into it later on. Number 2, Samson, the strongest man who fell to lust. Samson had superhuman strength, a man who could tear lions apart and defeat armies alone. He was literally the strongest man recorded. I don't know if it was factually recorded, but it's a Bible story. Take it with a grain of salt. And his downfall wasn't battle. It wasn't war or anything like that. It was lust for the wrong woman. And her name was Delilah, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And he was seduced by her. He ignored every red flag. He revealed the secret of his strength, which was his long hair, and ended up captured, blinded, and enslaved, just because he fell for lust. He told her, opened up to her, all of his secrets, and he fell. King David, the most spiritually grounded man who fell to lust. David was known as a man after God's own heart. He was basically God's favorite. He was the warrior poet, the shepherd king everybody admired, but his greatest enemy was not Goliath, even though that's what we think and when we hear in the stories. It was lust in a single moment of weakness. He saw Bathsheba and desired her. He slept with her despite knowing she was married, tried to cover the pregnancy, and arranged the death of her husband, one of his loyal soldiers. Lust didn't destroy random men, it destroys the best of men. Because if Satan or if evil or whatever you believe in, there's obviously good and there's evil. If evil can't get you through whatever other temptations there are in this world, like I said, drugs, alcohol, addictions, gambling, any other vices that you might have as a man, evil is going to come through you through the way to basically a man's heart. And it's, at the end of the day, it's woman. And the beauty behind them, their energy, their femininity. And today, lust is harder than ever to control. Sex sells for a reason. Every, gym clothing brand, like, look at the advertisements behind them. They're freaking putting scrunchies up girls' asses to make it more marketable, to make it more sexual, because that's what sells. OnlyFans models are making millions. Adult websites are worth billions. Why do you think? Most men don't stand a chance unless they take this seriously. And some, they don't even want to take it seriously because they ignore it or they're not aware of it, that it's a problem. I sure didn't for a long time. So here's a little bit about my fight with lust and what's helped me. I've struggled with lust for like 15 years. I'm 24, turning 25 in 7 months. So do the math. I was addicted to, porn for decades before quitting. I still face temptations and have my struggles every single day, but I'm improving. And it's a lot harder nowadays. And I'm going to tell you in a second what has worked for me. But I'm going to tell you what were the main causes for me at the beginning. Just like most people, we all have social media. Social media is designed to show you more of what you spend more time on. So if you're shown something and you're scrolling and you see something, sexual, for example, on media, and you don't immediately block it, if you don't immediately, discontinue it or remove it from your feed or whatever, it's going to continually showing up, right? When you're younger, that's like the cool thing to talk about with your friends. Because I don't know why. Like, it's honestly, like, it's so weird, but like, it's definitely, it's hard to talk about because it's something that, like, it's not easy to talk about, but it needs to be talked about, because if it's not talked about, then people are going to be struggling with it, thinking like there's a problem with them, but there's no problem with you. It's just you haven't been taught differently. You don't really have these kind of conversations with your parents. You don't really have these kind of conversations with your friends. Hey, this is what I'm struggling with. Because realistically, like every guy with normal testosterone, every guy with, that's living in this kind of century with media, they're all struggling with it. I've talked to tons of guys more than ever now, and every guy struggles with it. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing, and I just want to give you some clarity, but it's definitely something that you need to work towards, because if you don't, if you let it consume you, it's going to be like any other addiction. It's going to be like any other sin. It's going to be like, there's a reason it's one of the 7 deadly sins. Like, what are the 7 deadly sins, right? Gluttony, right? You're eating too much. Pride, greed, envy, wrath, sloth, laziness, right? And then the last one, lust. And lust is an intense longing or strong passion, especially for sexual desires. So, recently, in the past, I would say 3 months, or even like in the past year. In the past year, it's been my mission to really conquer and really to master it, because I know if I don't, it's going to end up controlling my life rather than me having more control over my life in the direction that I want to take it to. So I'm going to give you a couple of things that what's been working for me to overcome lust, and I wish somebody gave me these things 10 years ago, because it would have really helped my journey. And over the past 3 months, this is what I've done to completely kind of 180 my life. So number 1, remove all temptation. The internet is built to hijack your mind, so make temptation harder to access. Delete, block, remove, restrict. What does that mean? If you don't have the guts to delete social media, make sure when you see something tempting, you block it. When you see something tempting, you hide it. You say you're not interested. The less you're shown these sexual things online, the less you're going to be thinking about it, and the less you're going to be tempted by it. Starve your triggers and they will lose power. Delete social media for a week and watch what happens. Even just for a week. Usually the recommended timeline is 3 weeks to really see some change, but just start with a week. See how your mind starts rewiring and thinking differently about lust, right? Go cold turkey is number 2. And replace that energy. Every addiction that I've had in my life, every bad one I would say, every bad like habitual addiction that didn't give me any positive outcome or benefit, was just replaced with another form of an addiction. Another form of something that I can transmute that energy to, because all addiction to is focused energy. So you quit cigarettes by removing them or replacing them with something healthier. Right? When I quit vaping, originally when I quit porn, it was the way that I was able to do that was by developing a fitness addiction, a gym addiction. Every time I would get that temptation to watch and do the deeds that you associate porn with, I would just say, okay, no, I need to go work out. I need to raise my vibrational energy to a higher state. Transmute your energy. And it's the same with lust. Like I said, I replaced porn with fitness. I took the same addictive energy and redirected it. Addiction is just focused energy. Move it into a better direction. And number 3, be aware, stay humble, and keep going. Because lust for a man is a lifetime struggle and a lifetime battle. The moment you're aware of something, awareness is the first step to change. And the best way to become aware about things like this is to have conversations. Have conversations with your partner. Have conversations with your friends. It's sometimes hard to have conversations with family members about this, but get a close friend. Somebody you can really trust and open up about this to them. Because more likely than not, they're probably struggling with the same thing. And that way you can talk about it and you can keep each other accountable. Hey, here's what I'm doing, here's what's working for me. And you can share your wins, you can share how you're moving forward and how you're progressing, rather than just sitting in this like guilt and shame. Right? There's a reason that after you watch porn, for example, you feel so guilty. Because you know it's not right. Lust is powerful. It has taken down kings, warriors, and spiritual leaders. You will fall. Don't destroy yourself over it. Awareness plus effort plus consistency is what eventually leads to transformation. Just fall less often, learn faster, and keep pushing forward. No one's asking you to be perfect. Just keep trying. The biggest area that I've seen guys get tempted with lust and the way that their brain has been rewired is in social media. If you delete that, that will make the biggest impact on your life. I know I mentioned key historical figures like Solomon, David, and Samson. Obviously, they didn't really have social media back then. Why would they? And they still struggled with it. So don't expect it to be the key, the answer. But the less you expose yourself to like this whole sexual universe, the less you're going to think about it. And the more you focus on like good habits, working out, eating healthy, cold showers, like stimulate yourself through difficult things that force you to grow, read, meditate, all these things that these self-help books, these gurus, these coaches, these people that they talk about online, they talk about them for a reason. They're good habits. They're going to force you to level up. And they're going to force you to start making more good things and making more good decisions and building better habits, which is going to feed your soul. It's going to feed your energy to start like rewiring and thinking more like, I don't really like to use the word right or wrong, but it's gonna force you into the right direction. And like I said, the number one thing is less exposure to the sexual universe, but also conversations. Hard, difficult conversations, uncomfortable conversations with people you can trust. Because the moment you understand you're not alone in this is the moment you can change. You're not the only one that's struggling with this. I'm not the only one that struggles with this. Millions of guys struggles with this. And some of the best guys have fallen to it. Don't let it defeat you. Don't let it be your end all be all. But just know that it's something that's going to take years to master. It's not going to happen overnight. So if you're trying to, kind of like go cold turkey with like, sure, you can go cold turkey with like, quitting cigarettes. You can go cold turkey with quitting porn. You can go cold turkey with, deleting Instagram. But like the thoughts, the intrusive thoughts, the desires, they're never going to disappear. They're never going to like escape your mind. The only thing that you can do about it is have more self-control about them. And the thing that separates great men from weak men is the ones that recognize them, recognize these thoughts, recognize these impulses, recognize these desires, and control them. Control them in a non-emotional way. Don't get emotional about lust. Don't let it throw you off. Don't let it ruin your energy. Don't let it hurt relationships. Because the more you're aware about it, and the more you're aware of the actions that you do, the better that you can take steps and pivots and point yourself into different directions for you to dig yourself out of it. Recognition in moments is when change can happen, right? If you're recognizing that you're, smoking a cigarette, so many people do it on autopilot and auto command. They don't even know how many they smoke throughout the day, right? But then the moment that somebody comes up to them and says, "Hey dude, like, are you okay? Like, you smoked like 2 packs of cigarettes today." That awareness alone will spike change. And the way that you have awareness is by sharing thoughts with people, sharing I wouldn't want to say intentions, but just basically Just like, what's going on? Because this isn't something that you can just, conquer alone. It's something you have to conquer with at least another person, or, a group of people. Because I think once you conquer lust, your life's not going to be perfect, but it's definitely going to be a lot better and a lot more fulfilling and a lot happier than when it controlled you. Because especially with men, like, men are lustfully attracted to women. You can start seeing them for the beauty and the creation that they are, right? This is specifically talking to men. Like, I don't really know, because I'm not a woman. I don't know how, like, women lust for men, if that's even a thing. Probably is, but who knows? You're going to have such a better bond with them. You're going to see them as, a better partner. You're going to see them as a friend. And especially if you're a single guy, like, your intentions are going to be pure. And when your intentions are pure, you're going to have an easier time talking to them. You're going to have an easier time asking them out. You're not going to be afraid of, approaching them and asking them to dance, asking them for their name, asking them for their phone number. Because you don't have any negative or impure intentions behind that. It's just like another person that you want to get to know, or a friendship or a bond that you want to create. Yeah. That's all I really have for this video. Just keep going. Lust is a monster. It's going to wreck you. But it's going to build you up into a completely new, different person. Once you're aware of it, once you've made a commitment and decision to change, and your life's only going to get better from the moment that you decide this is not going to control me anymore. I am the author of my book. I am the author of my life. And I'm going to dictate how it's going to play out. If you're new here, subscribe. I love you guys. Check out the links in the description. I'm going to leave you like I always do. Create more than you consume. Serve others. Love everyone. Connect with me on LinkedIn and Instagram. See you in the next one. Peace.